Hello, everyone from the Chelsea Fan TV community. Chelsea have not won a game yet in the Premier League, but I'm feeling confident, Kevin. I'm feeling confident. Another episode of the Chelsea Fan TV preview show. Look, I think next time we speak, we're going to be in a much more positive mood. I think there's going to be a lot more positives to take. But listen, Kevin, let's get straight into it. What are you thinking about Chelsea at the moment, and how are you feeling going into the game against Luton Town?
Just going to be completely honest, really. Spent nearly £1 billion, and we haven't brought in one experienced player with £1 billion spent over the odds for a lot of players, but are not proven. And it's showing now on the field the lack of leadership. There's one leader we can say on the pitch on Sunday, Thiago Silva. Just inexperience and full of youth, and frustrating to see, frustrating to watch. And the model of deciding these unexperienced players, it's not working. It's clearly obvious, and I just don't think it's going to change anytime soon. I just think players like Mudryk that we spent £100 million on or whatever, near enough. The guy is not doing nothing to convince me that he's worth even £25 million at the minute. He just wants to run. That's it. Just run. No technical ability. I'm just frustrated as anyone else, really. But one thing I can say, which is probably different to last season, it seems to be a better team spirit. Obviously, we've got players that want to play for the club, which is good. But at the same time, we need experience. We need experience. Players that have been there, done it. Signing these players that are not experienced at this level, very risky. Well, we'll have to just get on with it. Nothing we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit harsh when you say there's no other leaders. I think Sterling was probably the best player on the pitch. Wouldn't you agree with that against West Ham?
Most definitely. And his first game against Liverpool, everyone was writing him off, saying, "Oh, he's shit at him," and then he goes and turns up, and he's our best player against West Ham. So, like I said, just give the guy time to get into. At the end of the day, a lot of these players are playing with new team members, like Gusto on that right side, him and Sterling. 1 game, 2 games to play together. So everyone's getting used to each other. Can't expect everyone to gel straight away. You know, things take time. What I can say is during pre-season, I've seen a lot of people getting excited because we went and beat and this and that. You know, now we're back to reality. I wouldn't be getting my hopes up about the season. I say, you know, if we finish 7th, that's an improvement from last season. But what I can say is things take time, and we've got to just get used to, you know, bad performances like Sunday.
But I mean, Kev, I know we lost, but I think David Moyes has a point when he says that Chelsea actually look pretty good at the moment. You know, there are a lot of things to take from the last 2 games. I know we haven't won, but you know, it's completely different to last season. I don't believe that our players' heads were dropping like everyone says they were. Obviously, look, when Caicedo came on, it was a terrible time to bring him on. There's two ways to look about it with Caicedo, right? When he made his debut, there's either you're going to either ease him into the team slowly, like we see with Guardiola, and obviously Jurgen Klopp likes to do that a lot as well with new players at Liverpool, or you can just chuck them in straight away. And that's always seemed to be the Chelsea way of doing things. We tend to just chuck players in the deep end and then see how they react. So I'm not against that. I don't think that's a bad thing, but also at the same time, I don't know why people are expecting to see the best of Caicedo against West Ham when we weren't even seeing the best of our own team. But having said that, we still saw positive intentions throughout the match. We were just outclassed. And I'm not going to sit here and say that we were outclassed in terms of, you know, West Ham were dominating possession constantly and, you know, we were running all over the place. We just couldn't break them down. And it was the final finish. It's
because the formation, mate. I'd have to I believe with this 5 at the back formation, you're taking one attacking player out the mix. So what you found in the second half is Nicholas Jackson. Their game plan was to get around him because they know he's the link man up there. He's the one that pulls the strings. He's the one that links the play up. So they got men around him. So when the ball's coming forward, it's not sticking. And that's why I come to last week again. We need attacking midfielder, and we need one very, very quickly. We need someone to play just behind Jackson, so them two can link up. And there's more assists, there's more balls coming through for Jackson. So he's not dropping as deep to get the ball. Maybe can run in behind a bit more and stop dropping deep. So we need someone just behind Jackson to let the play up. Obviously, that would have been in Kinky, but unfortunately, he's injured. But formation doesn't work. I don't understand why he's playing it. Two midfielders, Gallagher. Everyone was getting their freaking tails up about him, saying, "Yeah, he's done well against Liverpool, but against West Ham, shocking. No concentration in that corner. The ball went straight over his head. I don't rate the guy, and no one can really change my mind on that. I think we need a bit more quality, and we need someone who's got an eye for a pass in that final third. And unfortunately, Conor Gallagher's not going to bring you that. Enzo got on the ball well, but like I said, when our threats in the team, the one or two threats in the middle of the park, once they get men round them, everyone else is just not the best. So what we found is West Ham got around Enzo, and he didn't really have a good game. And I think once he missed that party as well, his head was down, and it's unfortunate really. But once again, it's just everything. Even Enzo taking the penalty as well. Why is he stepping up for the penalty? Why not give it to Jackson, a striker? He wants goals. Like he was leading. He was the leader. He was the leader. Is it Posh? Because Enzo picked the ball up. Me as a manager, I would have been like, nah, give it to Jackson because he's a striker. I just don't know. But things need to change quickly because I'm telling you, Posh hasn't got a long time to get it right because if it's like this in their Christmas time, mate, guaranteed a lot of the fans will be getting on his back, and I can 100% show you that.
Yeah. Well, I guess my defense for Poch, no matter how the results go, I think I will back him because we had a reason in the end to sack Potter, and that was evidently, obviously, the results weren't great, but we didn't have anything to back in terms of what we knew he could do because we never saw Potter at that level. We have seen Pochettino at this level, so I think even if he does struggle in the beginning, it will pick up. And his job isn't necessarily to come in and create fireworks straight away, but to build from the ground up with our younger players and turn them essentially from boys into men because, you're on long deals and somebody needs to get these guys playing football and performing. I mean, the preseason was great, but look, in the league, we need to see a little bit more. But I have to disagree when you talk about heads dropping and all that type of stuff. I don't believe that our heads dropped. I think that we just struggled to break West Ham down, and I think they were very good with what they tried to do. Even when they had 10 men, for some reason they always had our number. I thought Disassi had a terrible game. I think Colwell could have been a lot better. I think Gusto, I think he was all right. I think people need to stop overcomplicating and overthinking things without Reece James. I think Gusto's still a decent right back, and I saw him whipping some good balls. We just needed people to get on the end of them. And when it comes to players like Mudryk as well, I think it's positive, mate. The guy things didn't come off for him, but he's always in there trying to make things happen. And what we would criticize last season was players didn't even try. They didn't even try and make things happen. So this season, we're going to have a group of players who will try and make things happen. It might not always come off, and I'm sure a lot of the time it won't, because that's part of being a young footballer and developing. But you've got to grow somewhere and you've got to start somewhere. And last season was meant to be our building block, but it ended up being, it was actually That wasn't a building season last season, Kevin. That was just a serious downfall. So this season is really our first year of being able to build and get some stability, because we're such an unstable club at the moment. We need the players to settle and we need the manager to settle. Until then, we can't really look at the team and say, I can see this team challenging for the Premier League next season or the season after or whatever it is, or I can see us being consistent. There's never been consistency at Chelsea with managers, but times have changed. So even if things aren't perfect, I'm not seeing many other managers of a higher caliber than Pochettino that can come in with the type of players that we spend, with the money that we've spent, with the job that needs to be done, that can do a better job. I mean, I don't know, maybe you'll disagree with that, Kev, but I'm looking at this throughout the whole year. And for me, with Potter, it was only after Aston Villa, when we lost, that I said he has to go. And funny enough, that was when he was sacked. So I would say I'm probably one of the more patient fans out there. But in a way, you kind of have to be, because everyone's competing, everyone's spending money now, and you're forced into spending stupid prices like what we have with Mudryk and Caicedo and Enzo in order to get the players you want. We just have to hope that obviously it comes off.
I just with Mudryk, like you said, yeah, I understand what you're saying. He's trying, but let's get it right. He's been in the team now for nearly a year. There's no excuses. You can't keep defending him saying, let's get it right, when you can't make a simple 5-yard pass, or it's over hitting a cross, or he's taking a bad touch, or that's not, okay, he's trying, but £100 million, mate, he should be doing a lot more for £100 million. And this is where I know he's not a £100 million player. He's nowhere near it. And this is the thing. So what can we do? We have to stick to what we've got. And yeah, you are right. Let's try and improve him. But he's running out of time, mate. That
He's
honeymoon
not running
period's
out of
over
time
now.
yet. He has an 8-year
Mate,
deal.
There you go.
He has an 8-year
But
contract.
he needs to start getting it right. Yeah. The thing is, what I'm trying to get to is patience will run thin, mate. If he keeps on doing bad passes, cold-hitting crosses, taking bad touches every single game, fans are going to get on his back, and then he's going to lose his confidence, and then he's just going to end up being worse and worse. So he's got to start putting the performances now, mate. He's got to start doing it now. No more excuses.
But Kevin, this is actually a really interesting conversation, because let me just bring this to you, right? So you have obviously your 2 10s. Now let's just imagine everyone's fit. Let's just take it like that. So you got Nkunku and Chuameka, right? They're your 2 number 10s. Maybe you're playing Nkunku on the left every now and then, who knows? But generally speaking, they're your 2 10s. And then on the wing, who have you got? You got Sterling, you've got Madueke. Who else have you got? Obviously, you got Mudryk as well. Who else played? Oh, help me out, Kev. We've got more wingers than that.
Mason can play on the
Ian
play on the wing.
Yeah, I mean,
and this is the thing, though, mate.
We've got options, but hang on,
talking about £1 billion squad here.
Well, let me finish one thing. So you've got these players, Madueke, Sterling, and Nkunku, right? Because Nkunku did play on the left in pre-season. I don't see Mudryk starting ahead of any of those guys. And when he is given the opportunity to start, which is very rare, he might have a half decent game, but of course he's going to make mistakes because he doesn't have the rhythm. And then generally speaking, he doesn't get started anyway, and he gets 10, 20 minutes off the bench. So how can you judge a player when he hasn't been given the time or the trust, because it is a trust thing, isn't it? And a confidence thing, to actually go out there and show what he can do on a weekly basis? Because just because you didn't do well off the bench against West Ham doesn't mean you're going to do badly if you started every week. So, I mean, that's 2 different scenarios.
There's obviously he's been through 3 managers, mate, and he hasn't started with 3 managers, so that's obviously something to do with the player. He's got to show the manager in training. He's got to show the manager, if he does get an opportunity with 20 minutes, he's got to come and prove himself. There's no excuses for fight. So there's no excuses not making a 5-yard pass. There's no excuse over hitting the cross on a consistent basis, mate. Just because you're playing 20 minutes, you still got to use those 20 minutes to prove to the manager why you should start the next game. Every opportunity, every opportunity he gets, he should be taking it. And if he's not doing something in training to prove why he should be starting, it's on his back, isn't it? There's no one else. He's the one that should be going to the manager and saying, why ain't I starting, and proving himself. Once he gets to the minutes, proving himself to get a start.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I also think it is on the manager as well to guide a player like Mudryk, because I feel like if there is one player that needs that guidance, that needs that support, it just looks like he's one of those players. Sometimes he doesn't always make the right run, or he doesn't make the right pass. He always tries to be positive, but sometimes he just misses, something simple that everyone else can see. I think that sometimes, that could be frustrating. But that's where Poch comes in. But let's just move on, Kev. Obviously, we've got a lot of injury issues at the moment. We've got Chukwuemeka, he's out with a knee injury. Reece James has got a hamstring problem. Nkunku, Fofana, and Broha have knee injuries. Chalobah's out. Bettinelli, our second keeper's out. And Badiashile as well. So, we've got a pretty decent amount of injuries considering the season's only just started. And we know a couple of those came in pre-season and beforehand anyway. But is this something we need to be worried about? Bearing in mind, obviously, we need a fit squad, or do you still feel comfortable with what we have?
Very worried, mate. Just a copy and paste from last season when we had 10. One period we had 12 players, didn't we, injured at the same time? I'm sure we did. Something daft. It was a massive amount of number. There's somewhat worrying. I don't know what it is. It's not. It can't be just bad luck. It's got to be something to do with the medical stuff, mate. The players must not be getting the right treatment. Must be getting rushed back. We're seeing over and over again with James. He's coming back and he's playing and he's getting injured again. Coming back. Yeah, worrying. Considering that's we say 7 or 8 players already, and with 2 games into the league, you don't want to have 7, 8 players injured throughout the season. Nevertheless, within 2 games. So yeah, this is worrying.
Yeah, mate, it's not great. But look, when you've got 1 game a week, at least we've got an advantage of players being able to have a decent rest. Funny enough, after Luton, we've got Wimbledon, and then we've got our next game on a Saturday anyway. But apart from that, we're not going to have half the issues that the Man City's, Arsenal's, Newcastle's are going to have. So we've got an advantage on our side in that sense. Now, going into this Luton game, Kev, I mean, I think it would be stupid for me to say, do you think we can win this game? Because if there's a Chelsea fan out there who doesn't think we can win this game, I have no idea why. I know we struggled against West Ham, and obviously we didn't get 3 points against Liverpool, but they're respectable sides, and Luton have only just got promoted. And I mean, me and you, Kev, we were going through the team sheet of Luton beforehand. I mean, I know Chung, I know Barkley. That's about it. I mean, do you know anyone else from that team?
I'm looking at it now. Jacob Brown, old Stoke player. And Tim Krul, he's probably been around for the last 40 seasons.
Oh, Tim Krul as well. Yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
But I mean, mate.
Yeah, but the thing is, don't. You know what I say is with this, they're in the Premier League for a reason. Yeah. Championship's the hardest league in the world. Yeah. They're in the Premier League. Just because you don't know the names, they could be a brilliant team. They could know each of us games inside out, and they could come and do it. I am not getting carried away just because Luton are a small club. I think they're going to come. We know what they're going to do. They're going to come. They're going to sit everyone burn the ball. They know that they're going to look at the West Ham game and think, you know what? Look how hard it was for Chelsea to break them down. We can go and do the same thing. All they're going to try and do is catch us on a counter-attack. That's it. So they're going to come with a game plan. And I'm not convinced that we're going to break him down so easily without a camp, without a number 10, someone who can find those little spaces, find them gaps. We haven't got no creative players in that squad. So that's one thing I can say, that will be hard for us to break Luton down. But if I was a betting man, I think we should be winning that game. But if everyone's going to say to me, we're going to thrash them, no, we're not. I'll probably say it's going to be 2-3-0, 2-0 max. I'm
Well,
saying,
2-3-0 is
and
pretty
that's
good.
just good.
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah,
that.
that's it. We need more creative players, mate. And that's Luton. Like I said, they're going to do what West Ham did on Sunday. They're going to see 2 banks of 4, and they're going to say, "Yeah, you come play in front of us and try and break us down." And it's difficult to break a team like that down, or any team that's going to sit behind the ball if you haven't got creative players.
Well, the pressure's definitely on us to obviously get our first win. And I think, I probably said this last week. Timing is everything with fixtures. That's why I was confident we were going to beat West Ham. Because if you look at it logically, I know everyone thinks that just because we have a bad record, we were going to struggle, and we did. But it was the second game of the season. It wasn't exactly our December period. Let's start off, let's start off positively because West Ham could be slow. They're still trying to figure out their own team. They're still signing players, as is most teams in the Prem. So that was my logic behind that. But again, the timing's good for us. We've got to win. The pressure's on. The support is still there. Anyone that loses support for a team after dropping points in 2 games, you should be ashamed of yourself. Don't call yourself a Chelsea fan. In fact, why are you still a Chelsea fan? I mean, you saw us last season finishing 12th. Why are you getting angry now? So Chelsea fans should be happy, Kev. I mean, we're in such a good position compared to where we were last year. I mean, I feel privileged to be watching Poch ball. And that sounds pathetic because we couldn't even win a game. But what I had to watch last season was it was a disgrace. There was no borderline about it. And the worst thing about it as well, Kev, I had to speak to people for hours and hours after these games about how shit we were. And I had to continue doing that. So to actually be at the pub after a game or speaking on a show with you or a podcast with Lewis and Charlie, whatever it is, and seeing positives. I mean, that's just a great thing. So a lot of people are closed-minded.
The only positive I can say right now, being truthfully honest, is Jackson. Definitely a good signing. And
there's more positives than Jackson, Kev. Come on, mate. Come on.
I'm just looking at it. I just see when I see and we spent nearly £1 billion, and I think, give me half of that money, and I could build a better team than that.
Yes, Kev, but you're talking about a better team for now.
We haven't signed the right players, mate. But like you said, I look at life from my half glass. Let's say, you know what I'm saying. To be positives, the players are fighting for the badge. Last year, a lot of players didn't want to be there. Every single game we were seeing Kovacic walking off the pitch with his head held down and walking around the pitch clapping the fans. It was just so depressing to see on a weekly basis. So, to be honest, there is positives to take. We've got a better team spirit, but it's got a little bit better. Then this next couple of weeks will be vital. Next couple of weeks will be very vital for us to see where we're going to end up. We need another cam. We need probably another striker. And I'll probably say we need another winger as well. If we can sign some good players in there towards the end of this transfer window, I think we'd be all right. But right now, as it stands, top 8 would be a successful season for us as it stands.
Come on, Kev. Top 8.
Being serious,
really?
we can't be getting, mate. If you went to the game last week and you seen the way we played. You seen it.
I saw the way,
and
I can take a lot from it. I can take a lot from it because we went 1-0 down and we didn't go 2-0 down. We didn't go 3-0 down. That's what we did last season. So, I mean, you already said it yourself. The players are fighting for the badge, and we came back. We made it 1-1. We had the chance to make it 2-1 with the penalty. Enzo scores that. We're having a completely different conversation, Kev. We're talking about how we beat West Ham. Because I guarantee we wouldn't. They went down to 10 men as well, Kev. So it's the confidence.
All I'm saying is, the only thing is, I'm just worried about how we're going to break teams down when they come and sit 2 blanks of 4.
Yeah,
because we haven't got any players. That's my only concern. What if we sign a Cam or some more? The players that we've got, they're not creative players. And when you look at other teams in and around the Prem, they've got 3 or 4 creative players in the team. We haven't got her. So once
I
we
would
resolve that issue,
disagree with that. I would
I'll be a bit more
disagree with that,
positive.
Kev. We do have creative players, but they haven't been. They're in an unstable team, and they haven't been given a real block to start off and create. So when you look at Sterling, he was crap last season. He's already been better this season, but why? Because the players around him are better and the system's better. So I think that's the same for Madueke. I think that's the same for Mudryk. The same for Enzo, who I already think
the system? So would you think the system's better? Honestly, this 5 at the back team midfield. Do you
No,
think the
not
system's better
consistently.
than?
I think that Poch will change the system up. But if you're talking about the Liverpool game, I think that was a very good performance. And if you're looking at the West Ham game, I can understand why he played the 3 at the back with the 2 wing backs. Although he said Chilwell was a winger, I didn't quite understand that. If you are going to do that, then play Maatsen, because for me he's much better in terms of creatively and as a goal scoring threat. I just think he's more consistent. But look, we've got a solid base in midfield now, so I see no excuse to not play with a 4. You've got Caicedo and Lavia who can sit, Enzo who can create, and then we had Chukwuemeka who could create in the midfield, but unfortunately with that situation, obviously he's gone, and we're relying on players like Sterling to pull through, but so far he's not been too bad. So I have no issue putting my confidence in a player like that, because he's won leagues, he's won titles with amazing teams, and he knows what it takes. So hopefully his mentality from what he's had in the past, the success he's had, can rub off on the other players. But yeah, I mean, just to round out, Kev. So your prediction for the game? Did you say it was 2-3-0? Is that what you're going with?
I'd say I'm hoping so. 2-0 Chelsea.
2-0. I'm going to go with a 1-0 personally, because do you know what it is? I do think that we should smash Luton, but I think at the same time there's going to be a little bit of nerves creeping in, and once we get that first scrappy win, I think we'll see better ones in the future. But maybe this won't be pretty, but 3 points is all we need right now.
It's going to be one. It's going to be very frustrating. We all know Luton ain't come. They come into the Premier League to play football. They haven't got the players for it. What are they going to try and do? They're going to come to big clubs like us and just frustrate us, kick us, waste time, and just try and get us on the break like West Ham did, or try and get us on a set play like West Ham did. That's the only way clubs can beat us. So going to be frustrating, but I'll be happy. I'll be happy with 1-0. Just get the 3 points on the board. Let's just see what we like in these games. And obviously, if we can't break down a Luton Town and get the win, we know where we are. And that 8th place finish, what I said a bit ago, it's a justifiable statement.
Fair enough, Kev. Well, listen, mate, always a pleasure having you on. Thank you, everyone, for watching the Chelsea Fan TV preview show with myself and Kev. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with anything that we've said. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, guys. There's a lot of content that we're going to make this season. So we're doing it for you. Let us know what you think. And up the Chelsea. We'll see you soon.